Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. If you are new here, hi, my name is Sarah and I make a lot of special effects tutorials, some beauty tutorials, and a little bit of DIY in between. If you haven't noticed by my voice yet, I am super sick and that's why I haven't made a video in a little bit. But I have decided to finally fight through it and try a couple products out because I got some from Colourpop and thought it was about time. And the products I wanted to talk about today are the Supernova shadows by Colourpop, as you can tell by the title of this video. So as always, this video is going to be in two parts, obviously in one video, but two parts. So it's going to be me talking about the products and me actually giving you a tutorial on them. So first things first, let's talk about the packaging. It's pretty much the cutest thing I've ever seen. Colourpop is always really bomb with their packaging. So there are 5 of these in the collection, although I could only get my hands on 4 of them. I got Dragon, Firecracker, Moonlit, and Hard to Impress. Not impress, but Empress. As you can see, these are very, very beautiful. I am just going to go through them as swatches and let you know a little bit about them. Because like I said, I have actually used them. I haven't used all 4 of them, obviously, or rather all 5, but all 4 that I have only used 1. So this first one I'm going to be swatching is called Dragon. Then we have Firecracker. Next up is Moonlit. And lastly for my collection is Hard to Impress. As for my thoughts on these, I've obviously only played with them once, as is this makeup tutorial, besides just swatching them like I just did. I'm definitely not one of those people who, if they want to make like a tutorial or they want to do like a first impressions, I'm not going to not watch other people's videos because I really enjoy watching YouTube videos. And that's another reason why I make YouTube videos. So I have watched a few people's videos on these, and I have gathered a little bit of information. If I can remember the video, I will leave it down in the description box down below. From what I've heard, these are pretty difficult to actually blend out once they've dried down. So if you are going to blend them out, I would probably recommend doing it while they are still wet, because that's what I did in the tutorial to actually blend it a little bit more up into my crease. I did it while I had just put it on. As well, these do dry down very, very fast. I think these dry down in just a few short seconds, like maybe 10 at most. So you're going to want to pack on the product, and if you want it to be a little bit more diffuse, you're going to want to tap it out. So how I did this, and again, as you will see in the tutorial, I put a little bit down and I dispersed it with my finger to diffuse a little bit out to my lid more, and then when I had it as diffuse as I wanted it, I would take more product and add it on. So basically just keep packing on the product until I got the opaqueness in the center that I wanted and the diffusion out towards the rest of my eye like I wanted. Another note to touch on is pigmentation. These Supernova shadows are very pigmented. Well, still pigmented. So really all you need is like 1 or 2 swipes to get a full opaqueness. Don't let my swatches kind of trail your thoughts on how these actually are, because my swatches, like anybody's swatches, probably aren't the best indication of the actual product itself, because swatches kind of suck. Let's be real here. So I will most definitely be playing around with these colors more, and if you guys want, I can do another tutorial on each color themselves, but for today I just wanted to do one because, again, I'm very sick right now. I barely got this video going, but I just wanted to put something up for you guys, and I really wanted to test these bad boys out. Also, for anyone who may be wondering what I have on my lips right now, it is Kat Von D's Haze 2. This is a limited edition item that I think was out about a month ago. I do have a video on it if you want to see that. I will also post that in the description box down below. Alright, another point to actually touch on it. Although I've never used these myself, I have heard that these are very similar to the Instyler Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow, which retail for $31 on the Sephora website, which is quite a bit more than the Colourpop eyeshadow, almost actually like 4 times-ish. Although that is the Canadian pricing and the $7 is the US pricing. The only difference I've heard between the two of them is that the Instyler one blends out very nicely, whereas the Colourpop one, once it dries down, it just kind of like flakes off if you actually try to blend it out. Which, again, taking it back to like my first or second point, losing count now, but you do, again, want to blend it out while it is still wet, otherwise it's just going to flake off. One last point to actually touch on, I did pay for these myself, as I always do with Colourpop, because Colourpop is the shit, and I spend way too much money on it because they keep coming out with collections. So in US currency, these are $7 each, and you're going to be receiving 4.7 grams of product, or 0.17 ounces. Actually on the site right now down here, And as of right now, the Dragon Supernova shadow is actually on special right now for $3.50 instead of $7, so that is 50% off. Just a heads up, I don't know how long that is going to last, but I will also be linking Colourpop in the description box down below. But enough of hearing my raspy little voice. Hopefully it'll be better by the time I do a voiceover. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little review of the Supernova eyeshadows by Colourpop. And if you guys want to see how I did this, then just keep watching. Alright, so I have already obviously done this eye, as I do in all of my tutorials, just to see what I'm going to do to like play around with it and whatnot. So I'm just going to show you how to get this to this eye. As always, I'm starting out with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, as I do for any bright colors basically every time story of my life, loading up my eyelid and blending it out with my finger. For this tutorial, I'm actually going to be using the Urban Decay Electric palette, specifically starting out with Savage for my crease color with a Morphe M330 blending brush. Obviously blending that into my crease because this is what we use a blending brush for, and slightly onto my lid. Then quickly cleaning that off with a color switch so I can continue using the same fluffy brush to diffuse a color outwards towards my brow bone, since I'm not using a transition color. You totally don't need to use the color switch, but I decided to because I didn't want to get another fluffy brush. And now with a dense packing brush, I'm going to be taking Urban and putting that all over my lid. Coming back in with a blending brush to marry the two colors together as best as I can. Then starting on my lower lash line, I'm lining it as well as using the NYX Liquid Suede liner in Run the World as my base for my symmetry. First with the Urban again, and on a pencil brush this time, followed up with Savage on a blending brush. And for the star of the show, the Colourpop Moonlit Supernova Shadow. I'm going to speed this up because I already mentioned in the beginning how I went about this, placing product down, blending it out right away with my fingers towards the outside of the lid, and once I have that, adding more product onto the top to get the pigmentation I desire. And slightly blending the edges out with a smaller blending brush before it completely dries down, otherwise it's just going to crack off. Topping it off as usual with my Maybelline The Colossal Volume Express Mascara, and voila!